What's up? What's up, gang? This is YieldMaxMindset coming to you with year 2, week 7. And what a week this has been this past week. As some of you have seen from the short YouTube shorts, and some of you commented that some of you all were in margin call as well. Like I said, I dropped almost right at 30,000 this past week. You can see now I'm up $1,900 at 3.37%. And you can see my account right here is showing 59,300. All right. So now with everything going weekly, there's no monthly other than the target 12. And I think YieldMax is going to come out with a target 25 that they filed with the SEC. So right now, everything is weekly. So that is nice. Based on my estimates, it should be pretty nice getting a few grand a week. All right, so I guess we're going to just go through every position since everything pays out on Friday and Thursday. And yeah, if I as I go through this video and start thinking about something, I'll mention it. All right, so live we are down $37.10. And for the day, we was just at 1900, dropped a little bit. For the week, we're down $7,871. You can see here on the 17th when the market closed. I believe that was Friday. Let's see. Yep, that was Friday. You see right there, it's saying I was down 45. I mean, my value on the account was at 45K, and it was showing that I was down 21,000. But that was before I got my dividends and before we had some increase. But I'm sure that was with the dividends being paid out. All right, for the month, we're down $6,803. For the past 3 months, we're down $24,459. Year to date, saying we're just breaking even. How did that go to 83,000? See, the computer must be slow. I'm sure y'all saw that too. It was at 83,000, now it's at 59,000. All right, so year to date, it's showing we're up $9,694. Let me go back and see if all this other stuff updated then. Still the same. All right. So the past year, we're up $22,912. And all time, we're up $25,046. All right. All right, so you can see here our available margin now has increased to $145,841. Our margin now sits at $124,946. And as you can see here, our buffer is at 15.69% for $8,834. And as always, if you happen to be using margin, the first $1,000 is free. You see my interest rate is at 5%. A daily interest rate is at $17.30. And I'm at 5%. So the 5% is between 100K and 1 million. So we're almost at $250,000 invested in this account. And so therefore they're giving us 5%. And now if the Fed continues to the lower interest rate, which they're anticipating maybe 2 more times, we could be looking at 4.5% on interest, which is good. All right, so our available to withdraw from this account now stands at $5,146. And if the market continues to recover, it'll be a lot more than that. If it goes the opposite direction, then that $5,164 goes away more likely. All right, so if we scroll through here, you can see the different positions, and this is the maintenance ratio for those that are not familiar with it, and this is the margin requirement for each position, and it tells you the percentage of the total required. This shows the current market value for each position, And this shows you how much I'm down in each position. All right. So let's hit each position right quickly. All right. So now we have Coney, which is my biggest position. Is at $6.46, and the overnight market is showing that it's up 8 cents. All right, so our market value is at $74,936. We're down $50,064. Average cost is $10.78 for 11,600 shares. All right, let's see what our dividend payout was for Coney. All right, so with 11,600 shares, paying out 0.3462, that gave us $4,015.92 for Coney. All right, let's see what the next position is OT. OT is at $5.17, up 2 cents in the overnight market. Our market value is at $7,755. We are down $2,837. Average cost is $7.06 for 1,500 shares. Let's see what we got paid out for OT. All right, so at 1,500 shares, it paid 0.0908 for $136.20. All right, next we have Misty. Misty's at $12.12. It's up 26 cents in the overnight market. Market value is at $12,120. We're down $13,576. Average cost is $25.70 for 1,000 shares. Look like they've increased the maintenance ratio on Misty. I think it was at 30. Look, it's at 35. Or either I'm just not noticing it. All right. So 1,000 shares paid out $60.74 for a payout of $607.40 in Misty. Bitwise, we haven't got paid out because it is not a weekly, and it's not YieldMax. It's Bitwise, ICOI. I think it'll pay out. I think the distribution announcement will be made on the 22nd or 23rd, and I think they will pay out that following Tuesday on the 28th. Not absolute sure, but we can tell you what. Why don't we just pull it up? How about that? Here, a few of you all were interested in this position as well. I'm looking to potentially distribution rate 175%. I'm looking to make another position, another buy on this. It all depends on Palantir. I was tempted to sell it this week because of the margin call, but I did, and we survived. All right, so October the 23rd is the declaration. So they're going to announce this on October the 23rd, which will be Thursday. Record date will be the 24th, and they will pay out on the 28th, which will be Tuesday of next week. All right, so combined, we have 28 shares there and 800. So what we say, 28? Is that what we said? Yes, 28 and that. So 828 shares for ICOI. Now, I don't expect, I think this may be their lowest distribution, but they've been averaging $6.20 the last 5 months. So let's just say on the average of what they've been averaging, that's $5,133. And let's say they do maybe $350, right? It's still $2,887. All right. But we won't know until the 23rd. So let's move on because it's not part of the YieldMax family. All right. So YieldMax AMD is at 971. is up 16 cents. In the overnight market, our market value is $6,602. We're down $1,537. Average cost is $11.97 for 680 shares. See what we got paid out in our distributions. All right, so we had 680 shares. It paid out 95 cents. So we got $646.14 this Friday. All right, next we have PLTY, Platy. Is at 61.31. It's up 70 cents right now in the overnight market. Our market value is at $14,101. We're down $1,127. Average cost is $66.21 for 230 shares. Of course, I would like to add some why it's under my average cost. But right now, I don't think we have enough buying power to do so. And we need that buffer. You know how the market has been behaving, especially when someone says 100% tariffs. All right, so 230 shares paid out 74 cents. We got $170.36. Next, let's refresh it. Not want to share. Webull was not. That is a swing position, but we're covered. It's at 10.99. Market value is at 21.98. We're down $1,012. Average cost is 16.05. All right. So this is our main one right here. Palantir is at $179.76. You can see it's up $1.61 in the overnight market. We have 13 days till their earnings call. And so I was going to potentially sell this week, but we're going to wait until either leading up to the earnings or right after the earnings. And we're hoping that we have a good earnings that can get us over this hump, get us near that $200 price per share that I'm looking for so that I can have $10,000 in profit. And with that $10,000 in profit, in essence, this 26,000, well, let's pull up the calculator, right? So you can see. So 150 shares at 200, that would be 30,000, right? So there's going to be $10,000 in profit. So you can add another 10,000. So basically that was going to give us $40,000 in buying power and reduce our margin by 30,000. Because even though they're going to double that 10 in profit, they're not going to double the reduction. It's only going to be on what I actually return and what I make in profit. So that will reduce that 124 by 30, bringing it down to 90 something. Right? So that's what we're hoping for. 13 days from the day. Let's see, that's going to be one. We're counting the day. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're looking at October the 31st. October 31st, which will be the last Friday of this month. So that's potentially when we will have this earnings call. And I don't know if they're going to do this after market close or before market. Generally, it's after market close. So it's possible I'm going to hold on and wait for November the 3rd. But anyway, at that point in time, if it's not going past 190, getting close to 200, then we're gonna go ahead and we'll look for a day to where our profit is in. So it's showing that I have $7,231 in profit right now. So if it hovers around 82 to 8,500 in profit and continues to be that way, we'll just go ahead and take it and get that profit and wait for a dip and get back in. But what we're going to do is going to take this profit. We're going to take this profit, and this is what we're going to use to get back into ICOI. And So they're going to make their announcement this week. So we'll have, okay, it'll be good. Because if they pay out $3 or $4 and they reduce the ICOI, which is at 32, so that's what I was talking about. We could, if the market goes down and they pay this dividend, we could potentially see ICOI come down to anywhere from $25 to $28. And if it does, that's going to be an entry point for me because my average cost is 37, and I want another position. Because if I get this, if I'm able to get ICOI and accrue that position, that's likely going to be my final position for the year. Other than nibbling and some small funds, I'm just going to allow the distributions to go ahead and start to pay debt outside of this count, as I've been saying for the last 3-4 months now. So yeah, but that's what we're going to do and get this set, because the numbers are projecting, as you'll see later on in Snowball Analytics and Divi Tracker, that we're on pace to be at right at $15K a month. If I make this additional purchase, somebody just comment now. I had to sell a few things to keep myself afloat, I found, and that is the Doge Goat or the God. I can't pronounce that. But anyway, we'll get to his comments in just a second. All right, so that's the plan going forward, is to get ICOI with this Palantir. And that's going to be our final position, and then we'll go into 2025. Well, at now it's estimating about 15K, but I believe this will push it between that and 20K. So we'll see. Because right now it's saying right at about 14K. So another purchase could be pushing 22 a month. So that's going to be nice. We'll be really, that's going to be great as far as paying off debt and getting this I'm not worried about the margin, but this debt, as you'll see in our Excel sheet, how much we accrued in interest. It is crazy year to date. All right, moving along. Enough yapper there. All right, Hood is at 65.64. It's saying it's up $1.16. Our market value is at $722. We're up in profit $33.45, and that is Hui. And now y'all saw that this right here was at $78. I thought I saw it at 82. I did. I saw it at 82. So, and now it's sitting at 65. So that's also with the market inflation and things going in Washington that caused it to go down, and the dividends that we got. So, but Robinhood itself has been on fire. Let's see what that price is. It was, last I saw, it was at 154, I believe. Where is Hood at? Hood is at 133. See right there, it's 145, and it got up to 152, and it's down 133. I would love to have some buying power and get in there. All right, next we got Tesla, $8.47, up 9 cents right now in the overnight market. Our market value is at $1,524. We're down $586 for an average cost of $11.73 for 180 shares. Let's see what our dividend payout was for TSLY. All right, 180 shares, and we're almost at 20 cents, but it was at 0.1938. So that was $34.88. All right, next we got SMCY, $15.51. All right, market value is at $2,171. We're down $1,437. Our average cost is $25.78 for 140 shares. So we're down $10 per share. All right, let's see what we got paid out in our dividends. All right, so 140 shares at 81 cents gave us $113.26. Next, Supermicro computer. That is the underlining for SMCY. It's $52.80. It's up 62 cents at overnight market. Our market value is at $2,640. We're down $280. Our average cost is $58.61 for 50 shares. Next, we have YBIT. YBIT is at $8.81. Our market value is at $546. We're down $329.75. Average cost is $14.13 for 62 shares. Let's see what we got paid in dividends for that one. All right, 62 shares at basically 25 cents per share gave us $15.17. All right, next we have YieldMax. This is one of the first weekly ETFs of YieldMax. All right, that one in YMAG, right? So $12.45 is where we are right now. We're up 11 cents in the overnight market. Our market value is $622.50. We're down $156. Average cost is $15.59 for 50 shares. All right, 50 shares paid out 0.1743, basically 17 cents. $8.72 is what we got for 50 shares. Next, we have SoFi. SoFi is at $26.98. Where did it get to down this week? It got down to 25. And it has a target. Well, some YouTubers are saying it's headed to $30. And it's been steady growing, right? So my market value is at $674. We're up $169. Our average cost is at $20.18 for 25 shares. So these are positions like Webull, SoFi, Palantir, Uber, Lyft. Those are plays that, for one, Chris Sain has been talking about, and he's been on point with everything that he said so far. Robinhood, he said $70. It's going to 100, and now it's at what? 133. Got up to 152. So that's easy money if you got buying power and you'll follow them. All right. We made a little bit off Robinhood ourselves. All right. Next, we got AIYY, $2.55. Our market value is at $510. We're down $404. Average cost is $4.57 for 200 shares. Let's see what our dividend payout was for that. All right. So we have 200 shares paid out basically what OT is paying out, 9 cents. So we got $18.06. All right, next we have Bitwise. This is their version of Mara, $36.97. Our market value is at $2,218. We're down $304. Average cost is $42.05, and it was $36.97. All right, 60 shares. This is also in the same boat with ICOI, a Bitwise. It will make their distribution known on the 23rd, and we will get paid on the 28th. All right, another Bitwise position is their version of Misty. I missed. All right, it's at $29.69. My market value is at $29.69. We're down $20.54 for our average cost of $50.23 for one share. So yeah, we definitely will probably look at buying one share tomorrow, or 2 shares, and bringing the average cost down since we have an opportunity to do so, if I can remember to do that. And one position that I shouldn't have got in and didn't listen, 22nd Century, $1.47. Market value is at $235. We're down $980. Average cost is $7.60 for 160 shares. All right. So quickly, here's our crypto. You can see our crypto balance is $57,781. Y'all know my biggest position is CRO, CRO. It's at 15 cents. All right. You can see we got Our tokens now stand at 302,365 tokens, or shares, if you want to say that. That's because we got about half of it staked, so we're steadily getting crow each day. All right, so we are sitting at $22,148 in profit when it ran up when President Trump and Crypto.com merged. When they made it, when what is it? Trump Media Company decided to use Crypto.com Crow as their, I think, becoming their treasury. It ran up to 38 cents, and we were at $82,000 in profit at that time. You see, now we're at 22,000, and so I didn't sell nothing because I'm still waiting on the bull run. All right, Shiba Inu, one of my second longest position behind Dogecoin. You can see right now we have 137,118 tokens. No, I'm sorry. That's 137,118,424 tokens. My bad. And we're up $5.94. So I added about 14 of I think it was about 14 or 15 million tokens this past Friday, because it was literally down to my my average cost. Shiba Inu has always been up because I got in early, but this Friday it came down to my average cost at 4 zeros and 10. So yeah, we it was only maybe like $100 or so we put in here, but it got us a lot. And the other position that I've been telling you all about that I finally got into was XRP. We got 140 tokens. Average cost is 242. XRP now is at 242. All right, so we're up $1.19 right now. All right, that concludes our crypto. All right, so let's hit our Excel spreadsheet. Why don't we? Oh, I forgot about Charles Schwab. My bad. All right, so Charles Schwab account values at $4,185.25. We have 80 cents in cash. Our market values at $4,184.45. We was up $29 in profit. Our total cost basis is at $4,726.26. Guess what? I finally got my state return. So I'm going to take that money. It's only about $1,300, but we're going to put it in here. Hopefully we'll be able to deposit that into the bank tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Tuesday. And then we'll transfer that money here. And we're going to buy, likely, right now I'm looking at TSYY, RICOI. And of course I may add to my ETH co position right here, right? Because it pays twice a month, on the 1st and the 15th. I went over that last week for some of you that may not have seen that. Let's take a look right quick, right? ETCO. It's Grayscale Ethereum. Now, why does that matter? Well, Grayscale has, Grayscale has LTCN and I think BGHG. Can't remember what that coin is, but that was one of the ones that Ethan Invest was talking about. Him and the guy that does technical analysis, right? So Gate LT, pull it up, LTCN. That's Grayscale Litecoin Trust. All right, and so this is supposed to run up way faster than Bitcoin when it does make its run. So they were projecting a price between, I got it on the wall for those that didn't watch my video last week. It says the LTCN has a projected price between $2,300 and $5,000. And so I think I'm in around maybe $18 or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And then the other one, Oh, I told you wrong. Yeah, no, I told you right. 2,300 to 5,000. The other one is BCHG. That's grayscale Bitcoin. All right. So they were projecting it to run up between $250 to $1,500 per token. So far, we hadn't had it, right? But that's what Ethan Invest was talking about. And so I got into that position, to have a little skin in the game, so to speak. But let's get back to where we was talking about. ETCO, Grayscale Ethereum. Now this is Ethereum. Y'all know Tom Lee. If you follow CNBC or Fox News, I think he's been on there, and of course he's still projecting and stating that the last I heard. Let me say the last I heard, he was talking about Bitcoin reaching about 250 by the end of the year, and I think he was saying about maybe 30,000 for Ethereum. Ethereum is at about 4,000, I think. But he was saying we could see Ethereum hit 30,000. And so far, everything that he's pretty much stated in the market has come to fruition. So he's been on point. All right, so this is what I was talking about last week. Ethereum, grayscale Ethereum cover call ETF, ETCO. Right now is at $26.14. The 52-week high is $39.77. 52-week lows at $25.61. And what did I have over here? I got in at one share at $29.79. All right, so I definitely would probably add, if I can get that $1,300 in here before it runs, I definitely will add to that position while it's below my average cost, right? All right, so it's only got $6.6 million on the asset. Inception date was September the 4th, so it's fairly new. They paid out in September, they paid out $2.24. October the 14th, around that time, they issued a dividend of $1 and basically 129. And this is they paid twice a month, on the 1st and on the 15th. So those of you who are still working for the federal government and get paid on the 1st and the 15th, this may be ideal for you. All right. So that was the website. Where did I get the website from? Oh, I can go here, and I think they got the link to the website, right? Here we go. Grayscale Crush. I mean, not Crush. Trust. All right. All right. So here it's saying YETCO, a Grayscale is committed to providing investors ways to access the investment potential of Ether that helps solve for different clients' needs through systematic calls writing. We now offer investors a way to harness the unique volatility characteristic of Ether to unlock a differentiated potential source of income. All right. It says it is designed to maximize income generated through cover calls right into Ethereum. Also, bi-weekly distribution is designed to distribute dividends twice per month, prioritizing a consistent cadence of distribution to investors. Target payments dates are on the 15th and 30th. I'm sorry, I told you all the 1st and the 15th. It's the 15th and the 30th. I stand correct. All right. Then it says it writes rows and rebalance call options on Ethereum ETPs, saving investors the time and optional hurdles and expenses of doing it on their own. So I'm interested in this, and we're tapping into this, starting out with a small position, and we'll probably increase over time. The holdings consist of calls, cash, and First American obligation. This is some sort of probably interest-bearing account, I'm assuming. And then you got the treasury bill here as well. All right, now let's move on to our Excel spreadsheet. Hold on one second. Am I even recording? I went through all this and haven't recorded. Hold on. Okay, we are recording. It's not showing on the top. So I didn't know how many minutes I was at. All right, cool. Ooh, I was gonna hate that if I went this far and it wasn't recording. I couldn't. All right, let's get to the Excel spreadsheet. All right. All right. So for the month of October, we've gotten our payment twice. And once again, for those that may be seeing this for the first time, these payments that I've gotten from my employer doesn't have any federal or state withheld. So I will be turning this on in November. I checked and I last turned it on in August. So I am so far behind in getting my federal and state withheld caught up. So we're gonna have to do some serious withholdings. Mainly, our checks is gonna be almost nothing. So we're gonna have to pretty much live off our dividends. So we gotta figure this out some kind of way. Or we paid in what we can and we pay what's owed when we file our taxes, which is gonna be a lot because we've got a lot of dividends. All right. So our total active income for the month of October sits at $3,819.67. All right, year to date, we're at $43,376.85. You can see I've paid tithes on that, which is $4,337.69. All right, last week, last week was still monthly. So last week we were sitting at 1,000, and this is our passive income for dividends. We were sitting at $1,946.42. And with this week's payout with Coney, let's talk about Coney for a second. So they paid out 34, I believe 422. So that was a whole month's payout because Coney is not going to be paying out 34 cents every week. So if you take that 34 cents, let's just go back over here. All right, let's go to dividends. All right. All right. So this payment wasn't the lowest. The lowest payment was back in August. It was 34.38. This is 34.62. So it was close, right? And you can see all of 2024 where it's at. I mean, not 2024. Yeah, 2024 we was killing it until 2025, and that's when things took a bad turn. But anyway, so at 34 cents, 62. If you divide it by 4, we're looking at about 9 cents per month. I mean, per week, which is what OT is doing at that price, right? So we can only expect to get a better payout if Coinbase starts to go up or Bitcoin starts to run up and get a nice payment, right? So, but I estimate that we could probably be looking at maybe 15 cents if it starts to run up and recover. But right now, it doesn't look that way. So let's say on that right there times my 11,600 shares, I'm looking at $1,000 a week off Coney. So that plus um my other, so we're looking at about 3,000 plus each week, which is not bad for passive income. All right, let's get back to our spreadsheet. All right, so it was at $1,946 with our distribution this week. Everything going weekly other than the target 12. We're sitting at $8,015.39 for the month of October as far as passive income from dividends. All right, so that brings our active income. We are already stated that. So our passive income for the year to date sits now at $82,269.39. Now I'm thinking and hoping that I can reach $100,000 by the end of the year in dividends. So let's subtract 82 $269.39. So that leaves us with $17,730 in order to reach $100,000 in dividend for the end of the year. So with 2.5 months to go, we're looking at, if we divide it by I don't even know if 2.5 is fair. So we would need to average over 7,000. If we multiply that back and just say the remaining 2 months, we would need to average over $8,800 for the remaining 2 months in order to have over $100,000 in dividends. And that will be my first time achieving that if that happens. And I think we will, because right now we're looking like we're averaging around 14 to 15K. And if I'm able to make another purchase of ICOI or TSYY, that's going to push us well over 15K for dividends average in a month. All right. Moving right along. All right. So our average active income now stands at $4,395. Our passive income average now sits at, according to my spreadsheet, $8,226.94, right? All right, so our prior margin balance was at $131,385. It now sits at $124,943. All right. Our goal is at $50. Our interest now sits at $3,020. And our average this month 10. Yeah, this month 10. So we need to change this. Oh, it's already at 10. Okay, cool. Is that right? I believe that's right. Let's see. Yeah, I believe that's right. If not, we'll figure it out later. All right. So our 401k loan is reduced now to $21,733.04. All right. So last week we had a total debt of $329,168, and now that has been reduced to $322,865. All right, so you can see here our first month of interest was at $13,279. The second 6 months of interest is at $10,054. So our total interest on loans, HELOCs, credit cards, interest, anything, now sits year to date at $23,333, and that is averaging $35.51 a month. That is crazy. That is almost $1,000 I could be making off that. Yep. So going into 2026, Lord's willing, we're going to get all this taken care of. We may be able to get some of this taken care of before the year is out. All right. So our Robinhood deposits year to date sits at $1,885.92. Our Robinhood withdrawal, it sits at $10,748.19. All right. Tony, total invested. I think it's changed because, hold on, because we sold some in our Charles Swap account. So let me see. Let me go to Yahoo and see what our total number of shares for Coney combined with our accounts. Oh, all right. So it is 11,600. All right. So that should, I think the number is going to be different. Let's see here. 11,600 times our average cost of 1085. That's combining both. Wait a minute. We don't have any in our Charles Swap account. So Yahoo's got it at 1085, but Robinhood got it at 1078. So 1078, because we don't have any county anywhere else other than Weeble, but we ain't including Weeble. All right, so that's saying 125,048. So we're going to change that because I think previously when it was at, when we had 11,632, I think it was, times 10.78. Okay, so we got that wrong. All right, so let's go 125.48 here. 125,048. So any change there? Nope. All right. Oh, that's supposed to be negative. Negative 125,048. All right. All right, cool. All right, so total Coney pay, we've invested $125,048. We've made $67,659.26 since we've been invested in Coney, and we are $57,388.74 from being in house money, from having house money from Coney. So we are at 54%. Misty is at $26,142. We have made $23,443.80 from our Coney. We are $2,707.80 from having house money with Misty. So we're at 90% with Misty. OT, we invested $10,849. We made $3,962. We are $6,886 away from having house money on OT. And we're eventually going to include ICOI in this position here. So since it's going to be eventually another one of our top positions, say having the top three, we'll have the top four. So overall, we have invested in those three positions $162,039. We've made $95,056 off those funds for a percentage of 59%. We are 59%. Yes. All right, cool. So that completes that. We are back. All right, let's see here. All right, so we just finished up our Excel sheet. All right, so we're back here now. All righty. Excuse me. So in our cash only account, we are, so far for this month of October, we made we made $193.59 thus far in our cash only account. I think we can get it up to probably almost $500 to $700 a month in here if we get ICOI built up, or TSYY. All right. And here is our Coney position. Kavana, 6 shares. Let's do this. Kavana's 6 shares. Our average cost is $40.37. And ETCO, average cost is $29.79. HOOYY, our average cost is $61.85. ICOI is $36.26. Morrow is $21.92. Murney is $194. Misty is at $18.43. PLTW is at $43.85. PLTY is at $64.79. SMCY is at $16.78. And TSYY is at $8.52. So we are down $541 in this cash only account for 11.5%. All right. Let's go to Divi Tracker. Divi Tracker. Saying estimated annual income is $169,136. Monthly income is estimated to be at $14,094. All right. So this is what we got invested. $260,000 $334. And all this started with just around $30,000. I'll probably try to go back and get an exact number on that when I get some time. All right, so this is where our account sits at based on Divi Tracker's estimates, saying we're down 75,000 and we were up over $1,200 for the day. All right, so 2 days until next dividend. That's TSYY. Granted shares, yield boost, $11.67. All right. So it has 12-month total, 168, averaging about 14,000. Does it show? Yeah, there go Coney at $4,015.92. All right. And those that are still gray is only an estimate because we haven't got that. All right. So our annual dividend goal is now at 16.9%. The annual goal is to have $1 million a year. And so we would need to invest $169,136 in order to achieve that goal, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So this is where we were at Friday, was up this amount in these positions on Friday and down these amount on the positions Friday. Now overall, showing here that was down $53,700 in Coney, but then I guess it went up a little bit after market because right now it's showing that it's going up some. Let's pull up Coney right quick. All right, so Coney is showing that we are down 49,000 live, right? But we were down, according to this, 53,000. All right, next we have Snowball Analytics. All right, here it says the next 12 months. Wow. It's saying going into next year right now, based on their numbers, saying the forward next 12 months, we're looking at averaging almost $25,000 a month. And we will earn over the next 12 months, according to them, $293,750. That's over $250,000 in dividends. Woo! This is moving fast. Who would think that in 12 months? All right, so this is October. So you got September, October. So in about 12 to 13 months, I went from averaging a few $100s a month to a few thousand. And now I was at 8,000, which is what I have in my Excel sheet. But I haven't got paid in ICOI. So once I get paid in ICOI, it's estimating I'll be making about 14 to 12,000. Now I think the dividends will be a little bit less, so that'll probably bring that average down to 13 something. But I'm hoping to increase that position, and I'm hoping it can sustain for a period of time those dividends. All right. So 2023, this is what I'll tell you about. All right. So we didn't have much in here. 21 cents, 19 cents. And then in 2024, you can see here in January, I think we got into Tesla and OARC. You see there saying $2,000. So we was averaging about maybe $1,500 when you combine from May to March. And I think this is including my Charles Schwab account, because in Robinhood I wasn't doing that. I didn't started that Robinhood account to around here, August. And that's when we started to move 4,000, 7,000, 7.4 thousand actually, 10.3 or 10.4. And then December was 9. But I was like, oh, 2025 coming around, new administration, pro crypto president, we just to take off. Well, let's look at 2025. 6.3, 7.9, 5.4, 4.6, and then we finally got 14. That's because Coney had 2 payments that month. But it hasn't gone like we anticipated. But I think we're finally getting there. All right. So it's saying that we could reach our goal in 2027. So my goal is to get 1 million annually. And that would be, I think, passive income of 294,000 a month. So we're 27% there. Um, it says portfolio again. Also, it's saying 2028 is when I would achieve that. All right. All righty. Let's move it right along. See our dividends for those that want to see this. All right. So in Coney, like as I said, with 11,600 shares, 1078. 125.48, just like I got in my Excel sheet now. All right. So we received $67,659 in dividends. We're down 51,000. We got profit and losses of 1,400. So that still gives us a total profit of a positive 18,000. Now nobody wants to be down 51,000, 14,000, 1,600, 3,000, right? But these are the total profits once it's added and subtracted. All of that with our dividends, this is what we're looking at. All right. Oh shoot, we gotta hurry with that Q&A because it's already an hour. All right, so let's just get to the total. All right, so all our positions, we have 24,995 shares. Our cost base is at $260,595. Our current value is at $186,439. Because some of y'all be asking me about the Robinhood, and Robinhood doesn't show all this. It does if I go to a certain section in Robinhood, but it will reveal confidential information that I don't want to reveal. So you can only see that uh, on the mobile app. When I show you on the mobile, I can show you that amount. I got to remember to do it. All right, so dividends received. This is from beginning to end, and this is not year to date. $115,791. So I guess year to date, not year to date, but all time, I have achieved over $100,000 in dividends. I wasn't looking at it like that. I was looking at this year. So last year I think we did 39. This year we're at 82. So yeah, we're getting there. So we're down $74,000 in value in our positions. We have $295 in profit, realizing profit and loss. But our total profit sits at $41,922. That's taking the $115,000, subtracting the negative capital gain, and adding the $295 gives us a total profit of $41,922. So should we ever get just break even, just breaking even, we'll be looking at $260,000. If we can just get to a break even, that's where we'll be. All right. What's this saying? Portfolio is ahead of S&P by $4,591 since the beginning of the year. So it's saying we're beating the S&P 500 with my portfolio. Saying year to date. Okay. Past 7 days, what it looks like. We're getting beat past 7 days. $7,486. Yeah. Get it right. And we know why the last 7 days looks like that. All right. Let's get to our Q&A. All right, let's go back to last week and see, was there something? Everything's good? All right, cool. Let's get this, move this out of the way a little bit so we don't accidentally close. All right, next, let's go here. Oh, I need to do that again. Hold on. Let's go back here and let's do this. Make sure we ain't got. Yep. This was mentioned here in the last 5 days, last 21 hours. So let's hit. Oh, all right. All right. Mr. Dennis says, your Midwest brother. Been a little bit since I heard from you. He says, I love your content on ETCO and ICOI. I was buying IMERA at first. Now I'm buying ICOI. I will look into ETCO. Your insight and advice is really helpful to me. I like content in my morning drive. Thanks for sharing your insight. I replied at Alan, at Dennis, at Mike Lester. I said, and many more of you that I can't remember to mention. You are more than welcome. And honestly, I have to say your feedback has been most inspiring and uplifting when times I'm thinking about, man, I don't want to do this or I don't want to upload a video. I don't feel like it, but it's the responses and the feedback I get from you guys and women that keeps me going. I appreciate you very, very much. And that was also including Alan and Mike as well. And there's some others I couldn't remember at the time when I was replying, but you guys, uh, Alan and Mike and Dennis, I really appreciate you all's feedback. Mike says, got your back, subby friends or law. Oh, sub. So I got him. All right. He says, I got your back, subby friends or law, ride or die on this financial adventure together. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, Mike. All right. Dividend Sith says, every time I see Coney blood loses, I get sick. I said, I hope you don't have a big position like I do, because I think I'm down almost 50K in lost value. I still did enjoy the 4K paid out though. He said, I have a large position in TSYY. It is starting to tank, but at 140%, I'll hold on until I have my house money. Good deal, my man. All right. This was 6 days ago, so it's within. Mike says, thanks, bro, for the tip. I never heard of ETCO yet. Def more profitable than and safer than Defiance. ETH. I sold mines and switched over. Yeah, I I don't want to put down no funds, but yeah, Defiance. If y'all think YieldMax is bad, Defiance. I mean, they've done reverse splits on IWMY, I believe twice, if I'm not mistaken. I know once. And that's another thing. I For you all that are listening right now, right? Let me show you some. All right, check this out. So IWMY, I had it in my Charles Schwab account, and I do distinctly seeing this happening with my Misty account. So after the first year, I don't know exactly when it happens, but I was going to go back and look that up. So, so you see this price here at 655, and this price here at 1076. So at the end of the year and going into the first year, there's a such thing called return on capital. So what happens is this price gets reduced to this price here. Whatever Coney's current price is at the time, this average cost, even though I won't sell anything and I won't do anything, my average cost is going to become around 6 or 7, whatever it is. I don't know if that happens on every fund. I don't know if it happens on um, like every fund, but I do distinctly remember it happened in my Charles Schwab account on IWMY. My average cost was a certain amount, and I distinctly remember it being. I was like, wow, I'm down big in IWMY. And then I hadn't checked the account in a few months, and I checked it. This was after the first of the year, and I was like, wait a minute, my average cost is the same price as the stock. So I called into Charles Schwab, and they did some digging, and it was considered return on capital. So that lowered my average cost. And some of these positions that you all are currently in and that I'm currently in, we will see that happen on return of capital. on some of these positions. So some of you may say, "Oh, I'm down big time," and you still will be. And your average, and this will probably still be down too. I'm not quite sure how, if this fluctuates or any, but the average cost will come down to whatever that price or close to it after the first of the year. Just a little FYI there, information there. All right, all right. Yeah, I said you're more than welcome, man. You are always giving me feedback and putting me on things. The least I could do. But I wasn't telling you to go buy it, laughing out loud. I was just mentioning it, my brother, once I discovered it. I think I read most of these last week. They said in 6 days. So, yeah, we're going to move on. All right. All right. So, here we go within 5 days. All right. Semi Joe's, I can't make that out, but 68.85. I can't translate it here, but I responded. I said, thank you for stopping and watching. Um, leave a comment. I think it said excellent presentation, but I think that's it said excellent presentation. And I said, thank you. I appreciate you stopping by watching the videos. Leave a comment. Thank you. Gary says, why did they not pay distribution? And I said, what do you mean? Not sure. I got all my dividends. I do know that if you have a Weibo account, you may not get paid until Monday. But all others, to my knowledge, E-Trade, Fidelity, all of them should have paid Friday. All right. Sniper Wolf says, what about Coney? He got there. Uh, I said, Coney is, they was talking about getting paid out. I said, Coney is in two group, which will be announced tomorrow on Wednesday. YieldMax has made all their ETFs weekly except for the Target 12. The ETFs that you saw in this video are in group 1, and all others are in group 2, which include Coney. YieldMax restructured their distribution schedule. Sniper Wolf said, my bad, I got a little anxious there, laughing out loud. I said, it's all good. All right, 68.85. I don't remember what that was, but I said thank you, appreciate it. I tried to review or show everything I do. Same thing again. I says every week I do present dividend videos on Mondays. I do portfolio review, and sometimes throughout the week I may drop some short videos when I sell or buy a new position. On Friday nights, I give a brief update of my activity using a short format video. YouTube short. All right, next. All right. Kelly says, adding to my HOOW and PLTW. I said, those two positions are doing just fine. Great returns on them both. Leo Love says, love your videos, man. Keep them coming. But you made a mistake with your calculation on AMDW. If you have 100 shares and they are paying paying $1.37, the payment would be $137, not $21.76. All right, let's see if I can show you all what he's talking about, because I found a mistake. Let's see if it'll let me go there.
Automated trading softwares fail.
All right. So he said, the 15th was yesterday at $38.70. AMDW. I believe this is, he said AMDW, right? So this is what happened, you all that are watching. All right. So he's talking about this here. He was talking about these numbers here was wrong. So what happened was, if I back up to the prior position, it was this 21 baby 22 cents. So what happened was, when I was copying these numbers, I somehow got those numbers over here. See, they are exactly the same. And so, yes, all these numbers here in this column is wrong because 100 times that is not $21.76. My bad. Great catch on his part. I made a mistake, got in a haste, and I called myself double checking, but I still made a mistake. And he called it. Great catch. And that's what I said. I says, you are absolutely correct. That is my mistake. I went back and watched the video and I figured out what happened. If you look at the position right before that one, which was AAPW, they are that exact figure. So apparently I didn't copy over the correct information from my Excel spreadsheet when doing this for AMDW. Great catch, my friend. That whole column of information is wrong. It's exactly the data from AAPW. All right, Kelly says buying the dip, about to add another 3K to it. I said, okay, Kelly, don't catch a falling knife or go on a spending spree. Good job on catching the deal. Hopefully we won't dip much further. I got deal much further. All right. Next one, YouTube short. It's supposed to be a YouTube short, but it ended up being over 3 minutes. So they put it in the long format. Uh um I'm not sure how you pronounce this. Doji Cat. It happened to me, man. I said, I'm just glad I didn't allow Robinhood to sell any of my shares. I did sell 11 shares of XPay, but overall, I came out with it with $6,000 in dividends this weekend to give me some cushion. He said, I had to sell a few things to keep myself afloat. I found out what my issue was. I purchased 10K of XRP on margin. So my cash balance was all weird. I had to sell Coney and OT, which I'll buy back next week. All right, so check this out. If you're listening to this video right now, Doji Cat, I'm gonna say cat. I'm gonna say cat. If you're listening to this and you're talking about buying back into Coney and OT next week, don't do it. I'm advising you not to do it. And the reason why I'm advising you to not to do it. Now, hold on, because I don't know your details. Now, if you were up in profit in Coney and sold it and OT and sold it, disregard what I'm about to say. But if you sold Coney at a loss and OT at a loss, take check this out. All right. So a wash sale. A wash sales occurs when you sell a security or position or a stock or ETF at a loss, then buy back the same or a substantial identical security within 30 days before or after the sale. The Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, initiated this rule to prevent investors from claiming artificial tax benefits by selling and repurchasing a security without significantly changing their investment position. So basically, a wash sale rule applies to a 60-day period, which includes 30 days before the sale, the day of the sale, excuse me, 30 days after the sale. Now, I wasn't too sure about the 30 days before the sale, but I know if you sell at a loss and you buy back in within 30 days, you don't get the tax benefits. Now, some of you may not care about that. You may say, I don't care. I'm getting back in while it's low. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention so you can have an informed decision to make regarding that. It says the IRS, what is a security substantial identical? IRS has not explicitly defined this term, but it generally refers to a security that is nearly identical to the one you sold. the following action should trigger a wash sale violation: repurchasing the same security, buying that exact same stock you sold for a loss. So that's what I'm talking about. I got some more information. Acquiring similar assets, buying an option or convertible bond that is tied to the same stock you sold, buying a similar fund, purchasing a new mutual or ETF tracks the same index as the one you sold at a loss, spousal purchases. If your spouse buys this substantial, oh wow, okay. But anyway, that is what a wash sale. It says, for example, if you buy 100 shares of XYZ for $1,000, the stock value drops and you sell that 100 shares for $800, creating a $200 capital loss. 2 weeks later, you buy back 100 shares of XYZ for $900 because you repurchased the stock within 61 days wash sale windows. You cannot deduct the $200 loss on your taxes. Instead, the $200 loss is added to the cost basis of your new shares, making your new cost basis $1,100. Purchased $900 and disallowed 200. All right, so I just wanted to bring that to you all's attention. If you wasn't aware of that, but yeah, it will create a watch sale if you buy it. If you sold at a loss and buy it back within 30 days. It says 60, but I know 30. From what I know. All right, and I appreciate the reply on this, letting us know that you bought 10K in XRP. I purchased 10K XRP in March. I was thinking that you couldn't. I hadn't tried it. I hadn't tried it in my Robinhood. I was thinking Robinhood wouldn't let me buy crypto on margin, but it may. You may be using another different brokerage than I am, but that's something I didn't know. All right, Ham Ham again. 77 said, I appreciate your info and content while I'm on my journey. I said, thank you for stopping by, viewing the content. I'm having to navigate my way as I try to reach my goals. Sometimes they don't always go as planned, but I'm sharing some of the pitfalls and the stumbling blocks that occur on the way. Once again, thank you and appreciate you. Um, J Bo Music TV says, margin call as well, Misty. Doji Cat, I'm not sure what that is, but G Cat says, man, I got rents. I still got my Misty, but I had to restructure, still up 50%. I said, thank you for sharing. I hope your margin call wasn't real bad. I didn't consider mine to be that bad. I thought it was minor. I didn't lose anything technically, so I guess I came out okay. I said, sorry to hear about you getting rents, my friend. Glad to hear that you still got your Misty and you were able to restructure and you're up 50%. Sound like you're in the good, my friend. Sound like you're in the good. All right, let's go to the shorts. Let's go back here. 2 weeks ago, so that was 5 days ago. All right. Worth the Earl. Work with Earl. Worth with Earl. He said, good choice. I like ICOI. Hopefully the dividends stay within $4 to $5. I replied, I agree. We might be looking at $3 payout this time. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to put some more into this position, but it might depend on Palantir. I was going to sell it this coming week, but now that I know that they got earnings call, I think I will wait until after earnings in about 15 days, I believe. But I would like to buy some ICOI right after the distribution announcement to catch it at a lower price. If it continues this way and it pays out $3 to $4 a dividend, we may be looking at $25 to $28. Mr. Hernandez Ricardo Hernandez says, "How are you doing now?" So this was where the market was down. Oh, that's last week. That's last week. Everything here last week, 12 days. So we're gonna let that alone because you saw that in the prior video. All right, 6 days, 8 days, 8 days. Let's look at this one. It says if 360X says if we hold 2 or more years, we will make our money back. After that, cash flow. Wake up, people. This is one of the keys to retiring early. He's absolutely right. I know a lot of you like, oh, I don't like the NAV. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I just realized something. Let's see here. I'm back. All right. Where were we? Okay. That's it. All right. Oh, yeah. So 360X was saying if you hold for 2 years, we will have our money back, and after that, it's just cash flow. And this is what I'm talking about. That 360X is talking about. See, I'm at 54% on Coney, 90% on Misty, 37% on Ulti. Once you get all your cash, all your initial capital back, it's house money, and that's sort of where I'm at. So I'm not. Yeah, it doesn't look good to be down 50,000 in Coney, right? I get it, but I'm getting my money back technically. All right, let's see here. All right, Hostel Leak says I had sold puts on Hood a couple of weeks ago, and today they were in the money. I could have let them get a sign, but I didn't want to get a margin call and have to sell other positions. So I decided, excuse me, so I closed them and took a loss and reopened them at a later date. Now I understand what ITM as means in the money. I don't fully understand um, how margin works when you selling options and stuff like that as an individual, but I'm learning the lingo and I'm getting the gist of it. I said there is nothing wrong with avoiding a margin call. I hope that strategy that you implemented is working in your favor. Let's get that money. Um, Element says it looks like your deficit went from 576. He's talking about the last video. No, he's talking about this short video that we did, right? He said, look like your deficit went from 576 to 462, which is $114 different. Now, assuming you sold 600 of XRP, which has a 25% maintenance ratio, your total maintenance requirement dropped by $600 times 25% for $150. This doesn't quite align with the 114, but it gets us close. You'll probably need to sell $2,800 worth of XRP to cover the original deficit of 576. And I saw that when it happened. I didn't understand why it did not cover my deficit because all I did was sell about 500 and I sold $600 thinking, hey, it will pretty much cover that, but it only reduced the deficit a little bit. So what I didn't factor in or understand is that I always look at it on the sell side and not looking at it. I mean, on the buy side, when I'm buying stuff and I'm looking at the ratio, the maintenance, but not looking at it on the sell side. And this makes perfect sense of what he was saying here. I said, man, first off, let me say I really appreciate your comment because I didn't look at the maintenance ratio when it came to selling. I've only looked at when it came to buying. So it's something I didn't really take into account at the same time. It seems the same principle applies on the opposite side of this. Your numbers are pretty close. If I remember correctly, I had this amount here of shares, and I think it was about $616.20. I think I wanted to wait until almost the closing time of the market closing because I didn't know if Robinhood was going to sell my positions to get their margin covered since it was the second straight day of being in margin. And it looks like they let it slide because they saw that I had $6,000 coming in dividends. That night, that appears to be the case. I'm not 100% absolute sure about that, but it seems to be that way. All right. Triple A 132 says, show after tonight when you get your dividends. And I did. I did another short video and showed it. I said I did drop a short YouTube video, so hopefully you'll get it to see it. I probably haven't gotten to that section. If you have. Triple A says, be careful with margin. I say I try to be, but I be pushing it to the maximum risk possible. I try to maximize it with a side of caution as well. I'm almost at my projected monthly outcome between 15,000 and 20,000 a month, and I think I will achieve that with one more purchase or two of ICOI or TSYY, unless something else catches my eye before I pull the trigger. All right. All right. Jack says the problem with margin call is you pay for, the problem with margin call is you pay for is say you have 1850. Then if the market goes down again, you need to give again money you could have had in cash, but hey, better than losing shares. I said, okay, I understand. I have an okay understanding of the risk with margin, and I'm perfectly okay with being down $1,800. That's a small amount when dealing with the amount of dividends I get. I'm more than willing to provide that. I think that's what I was saying. I said I also could have easily gotten my dividends on Friday and did. Okay, I know what I was saying here. I also could have gotten my dividends on Friday and did my short video, and no one would have ever known that I was margin call. But I wanted to share my experience again, being in margin call and being near a margin call with those who may have not experienced that, to show them some insight into the situation. Now, how the market, how was I trying to say here? Now, how the market had went down to even further, and I'm down 10 to 20K in margin, then I'll consider a huge problem. I think so. I'm saying if I'm down that amount, then I consider it a huge problem. He says, JEP with high yield paying off the margin is immediately showing the good because you get money back faster. Any other stock, oh, I think I know what he's saying. Here he was saying JPI with high yield payings off margin is immediately showing the good because you get money back faster. Any other stock and you could wait years to have the money again in your hands. High risk, high reward. With taking a margin, people must have more cash in the account than with no margin at all. He's absolutely right. And yes, with these high yields, you're able to pay that margin back a lot faster. But even too much at one time can be devastating. And I know, and I've been feeling the market, So if I can ever get Coney, if Coney ever goes up, man, my account would just be crazy. He said, appreciate you showing what you're doing. So many people just show the profit and make other believe it's 100% foolproof. Again, people must have cash or the whole system's falls. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. He's absolutely right. Um, Hernandez says, tax hit is what I'll be interested in. It will depend on your tax bracket, of course, but you will you lose tax harvest anything? But will you have tax harvest anything? And I says, yes, I have about $7,000 in losses that was sold back in February of this year with AMC and IWY. This is going to be interesting because it looks like I may be on the path to making over $100,000 in dividends this year. We'll see if I meet the target. Ice Cold says, sucks, bro. It really sucks, bro. Hopefully, we can get some smooth selling for a few months to get our money up to build a buffer. Yeah, I took a 70,000 loss out of YieldMax besides OT and LFGY. I lowered my risk by paying back the margin with the HELOC I took. Now my account is all round hill, NEOs, and Granite shares also. But I did keep OT and LFGY. But I still have over 6K shares of Misty, unfortunately, in a retirement account. Market value, I'm down 88,000. Oh, I said, yeah, I'm looking forward to some better months this year. Has it gone as I anticipated? Like the last 4 months of 2024 were really good for me with these dividends. As long as I got cash flow coming in from the dividends, I'm good. I haven't sold any significant things at a loss because I'm looking at the total return. I've seen worse though with AMC, and I'm still holding that position too. So even with 70K loss, you were able to pay off your buffer and your HELOC. And did I understand that correct? I said I'm looking at Round Hill, Granite shares, and some other NEOs position as well, with a combination of some of the ones that I currently have. Since I got since I got started back in them in the mid 2024, the high yield family has expanded across many funds. So so there's more opportunity to get different positions than when I first got in. Bravo, uh 401 says, bro, NAV is killing us. I stopped adding to my positions. I said, yes, you're right. I did anticipate these things happening. That's sort of the reason why I'm not too concerned with the NAV being down. I'm looking at total return, and once I get my initial capital back, it'll be house money for me. And some can't stomach that loss being that large, but I'll look at the picture in the long run, long term goal. Wits says negative 40% in 1 week. What is the plan here? Total return for now. Excuse me. Total return for now. Because I'm not aiming to sell at no 50K loss. So I will wait it out and see an opportunity for a better strategy. Um, and I will execute accordingly. All right. Uno says, at least I'm not alone, gang. I said, hey, we all learning. We all learning. It just feels a bit better when you know you got company. Uh, give you a little hope for the future. Hernandez says, wait, why are you in account deficit? I'm in the green today, but of course I have different holdings. I also got a lot of YieldMax. And then I replied, probably because I'm down, probably because I got over 125,000 in Coney and I'm down 50K. I got over 20, I'm down over 2,800 in OT, and I'm down 13.8K in Misty. All right, so those were all of our shorts. Let's hit our posts. Let's see. I think we had a few of these. Let's see here. October the 8th. So these may be old ones. Let's see here. Yep, 11 days ago. Nine days ago. Right. 6 days. Nine. Six. 6, 9. Boy, you got a lot of comments here, boy. I appreciate that. Y'all turn them comments up. Oh, oh, okay. This was the day the market just went down and kept going down. I want to say that was Thursday of last week. Man, yeah, that was crazy right there, y'all. Go back and watch that chart. That was crazy. All right. All right, 7 days, 7 days. That's an old one. All right. Oops, that's not what I wanted. All right, that's 8 days ago. So move right along. All right, here we go. 3 days ago. Today is Friday. Oh, this is William Daniel Perez Preza Lavery. I'm not sure. Today is Friday, and my stocks don't report me dividends. Why? He said, today is Friday, and my stocks don't report my dividends. Why? And this is the only explanation I could think of. I said, I'm going to assume that you're in a Webull account, and Webull do not give you the dividends until Monday, if I'm not mistaken. If you have Robinhood, you should have gotten them by Friday evening after 8 o'clock. Most traditional brokerages, you will see those dividends generally first thing in the Friday morning. I said, let me know who you're using and have you gotten your dividends yet? I haven't heard a reply yet. All right. Kendrick says, wait, so is that the weekly dividends per week or monthly dividends per share? So Mag Cap says, I believe that was the last monthly payment for HOOY. Next week should reflect the weekly dividends, just like last week with PLTY. Payout was the monthly one, blah, 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 blah. I said, I agree. So basically what they did, like Coney, that went on ahead, even though it was weekly, a week, they went on ahead and paid the monthly distribution, even though it is going to a weekly format. So at 34 cents, we want to see it and Coney. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Shouldn't have did that over the mic. 34 cents a week in Coney. Oh man, I'll be living the hog if I got 34 cents a week paid out in Coney. But yeah, so what they did is they went ahead and paid out the monthly this week, even though they've gone to a weekly format. Eric Journey says, how do you feel about Misty? Turtle says, Misty sucks right now. I will hold and hope Mister can pump back up with BTC. Weekly is better than monthly. Roundhill ETFs aren't too shabby too. I says my sentiments are like Turtle. I think when Bitcoin make its run and Misty will go up. I said the main problem is that Misty implied volatility is low. Therefore, Mr. implied volatility is low, so therefore Misty isn't doing what it normally does. My average cost around 27, so I'm not selling for a loss. So yeah, once again, you don't lose until you sell. You may be down $500, $10K, but you don't lose that until you actually hit that trigger button that says sell. That's a loss. And the value is down, but you haven't lost it. Because with time, it can come back. All right, Music TV says Hui, Platy, and Hui have been good to me. Thank you always. I said, yes, I'm hearing very positive things about them. People are getting in them. Now, if we can just get Misty to return to her glory days. Classic says, I need some HOOY. I said, yeah, I would like to see the price continue to come down a little bit because it's been at the $70 to $82 per share price. That was a little too high for me. Also, you have to look at HOOW. That's paying a real nice dividend. All right, next. All right. Anthony says, I like the caption. And the caption says, I'll move this away. The caption said, when you buy, he who buys what he does not need steals from himself. So it's talking about letting every unnecessary purchase is a lost opportunity. So if you're buying things that you don't need, you're stealing from yourself, because you can actually take that and make an investment with it. So he who buys what he does not need steals from himself. So that's the caption he's talking about. I said, thank you, sir. Valuable lesson that requires discipline and not vanity. Lost opportunity to purchase something can give us a return for life versus purchasing something with depreciation accent. He's at 100 fats. Hernandez says you should load up on both of those. He's talking about YieldMax and OT. And I said mainly I have my eyes on three positions right now, and that's ICOI, TSYY, and ETCO. I did have intentions of buying OT to get 1,000 a week pay for me, but I think TSYY can do so better. All right. Wolf says, can you do a brief portfolio update? I said, it's coming Friday after 9-ish. All right. A final one is going to be this. 360 it says, most 9 to 5 can't pay 6.2 in 2 weeks. You are one step closer to replacing your salary, brother. And I appreciate your comment because you understand and you gets it. You understand and you gets it. People don't understand. That's 8K that I'm averaging right there in passive income. But I'm projected to go up the next couple months, getting 15 to 20K a month versus what I'm getting here. And I wouldn't even have this much. This is probably actually in about 30 something. But I haven't paid my federal and state just yet. But I'm hoping to get these caught up these last 2 months. So yeah, you literally can replace your 9 to 5. Most 9 to 5s can't pay 6.2 in 2 weeks. Mine can't. The funds loses capital and risky. Triple A says he's laughing out loud. All right, I says that is absolute true. It is to replace my 9 to 5 after I make another purchase of ICOI and TSYY, unless I see something else. I should be projected to make 15 to 20K, which should be about 3.7 to 5K a week. Triple A says, no, I replied to him saying, all investment has risk. I'm making more money taking the risk than I am on my current job. Yes, I made some mistakes, some investment decisions that were not favorable, but you live and you learn and you figure it out. Make the necessary adjustment, get into better funding, less risk, but once you do it, you're feeling good about the decision you made. When she sees the future, when she sees the fruits of her labor. When I started this back in August of September of last year, I thought having 1 to 2K a month in dividends was awesome. I wouldn't imagine that I'm at almost 15K a month in just over a year. Uh, Gamer says, how old are you? If that's okay for me to ask. And also, how much capital did you start with before margin? All I all I can pretty much contribute for YieldMax ETF is about $100 to $200 a check. I am buying OT investor. I'm a big OT investor, but I need some other weekly ETFs that have somewhat the same yield but is more stable, and stability is one of the YieldMax. And stability is the one thing that YieldMax is about. He's being funny there. Oh, what is my age? Why is my age a factor? I would say that if you are 23, you got plenty of time. Literally, okay, check this out. So if you're 23 now and you coming across these high yield ETFs, whether it's YieldMax, Round Hill, Defiant, Granite Shares, Bitwise, and all these others that are out here, all these Frame Shares, all these that are out there. At 23, if you got in these and been disciplined and be disciplined, literally, dude, you could be retired at 35 or 40. I mean, you could be making 30, 40K a month in these dividends if you play your cards right. And you just like, so how much did I have before you start using margin? If I remember correctly, and I got to take some time and go back and watch this, right? So if I remember correctly, I had maybe $12,000 in the account, but it was valued at 5,000 because I had Dogecoin and AMC mainly, and the value had depreciated. So once I made up my mind I was going to use marginal Robinhood, I had 5,000 in value in my account. I turned on margin, and that gave me 10,000. I said, "Oh, I see how this works." And so what I did is I went and got 26,000 out of my 401k and added it to my account. So either that was 30,000 or either that was 26 plus 12 in value. So about 30, 31, maybe 32 is what I started out with. And this is where I'm at now. And like I said, in 12 to 14 months, I wouldn't have thought that I could be in a position where I can literally be making about 15 to 20K a month in about 12 months, right? 12, 14 months. All right. This individual says, many shares, he says, YieldMaxMindset, how many shares each do you get? How many shares each to get 20K a month? Oh, if you're watching, there is no set amount. It depends on what funds you're in. It depends on the entry price you got in. If you get in at an entry price and it moves up, you're in profit. You're getting paid more dividends. Um, so if you're watching this, so the best thing I can tell you is this, man. Go here to this website. This is the best I can tell you, right? All right, Triple A says all weekly now. Yes, all weekly now except the Target 12, and I'm sure the Target 25, once it comes out, will be monthly as well. 42, 42, 46 says, I didn't get paid for YieldMax this week. I bought on Wednesday the 8th. He said he bought on Wednesday the 8th. I said, if your brokerage is with Weeble, then you'll get paid on Monday. If I'm not mistaken, could be Tuesday. It's with Fidelity. It's with Fidelity, and he didn't get paid. If he bought, if you bought on the 8th, there's no way in the world. There's no way in the world you should not have dividends. If you bought on the 8th, you should have dividends. If there's no way Fidelity is not paying dividends. I don't think he's looking at his account. No way. You cannot have gotten dividends. No way. All right. This individual 3771. I can't pronounce this. What he's him. I can't make that out. He said motivation. Motivation. Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's get it. All right. So that's going to conclude this broadcast of YieldMaxMindset YouTube channel. Remember to like and share and comment. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the comments. And I appreciate you sharing. You don't have to subscribe. You can just watch the videos. But please like, share, and comment. All right. Let's have a great week. And let's see if things can turn around this week with the market. Let's go.